Okay, it's a 2015 GMC 3500, but these radios were put in the 1500, 2500. These are just held on by clips. There is no screws to take this faceplate off. Just pop it from the top carefully, come down to the bottom, pry it from the bottom, and it should pop right off. Flip it down. There is clips for these heated seats, just leave the wires plugged in. There's 4 screws you need to take out. Once you get those 4 screws out, the radio itself just has 2 clips that'll just pop off. So just gently pull the corners. The whole radio will pop off. Just flip that down and see right there the metal clip. There's just 3 wires to unplug. Just got to pinch the back of them and pull out. That one was fighting me a little bit. Eventually got it. Alright, that's all it takes to get the radio out. Put on a flat surface and take all the gold screws out with a T15 screwdriver. This GM radio was giving me problems. It would switch the channel by itself. I tried setting the clock. A lot of the touch points wouldn't work. So it was very frustrating and annoying. I would hang up on calls. So obviously it needed a new digitizer. Alright, so once you get the back off, you got to flip up these ribbon levers to remove these ribbon cables. Just be very careful. They will rip. Just kind of pull up and back. It's like little black plastic pieces that hold them down. You just need to flip them up and pull them straight back carefully. Let's go up here to the top and do this one first. Pop it up, it swings up, kind of pull up on the ribbon and back. Alright, I just checked the circuit board out. There was no burns. Everything looked good. So at this time you can pull the whole metal housing off that has the screen on the backside. This glass screen, otherwise known as a digitizer, it's the same thing that's used on your cell phone. Right here you have little metal tabs that you just have to bend upwards. The screen, LCD screen, is held into this metal housing. You flip these metal tabs up and out of the way. Once you get them all, there's 5, just slide the metal housing apart. And you have 2 halves. One half is your LCD screen, the other is your digitizer. Set that off to the side. You don't want that getting scratched or dirty. Here's the screen, but now we need to get it off of the metal frame. It is glued down to the metal frame. Put the console aside. What we'll do here is we'll take a heat gun and we'll heat all around the edges of the frame to release the glue. Just take a sharp razor knife. I mean, you're not going to hurt the screen because you're throwing it away. I'm not a fan of breaking these screens, so I take my time. The more you heat it up, the easier it's going to be to come off. You're just pretty much releasing the glue around the edges. You'll see it comes off fairly easy. I am wearing rubber gloves just so I don't get any greasy prints on the new screen. I want to install it. Okay, separate the two pieces. Glass panel. That is the part that needs to be replaced. Now this frame here, we do want to get a little bit of that excess glue off. The easiest way I did that was I just used the razor knife and scraped it off. You can use Goo Gone or alcohol. I didn't make mine perfect. I don't really feel that you need to make it perfect, but just as long as there's nothing crusted on there. Alright, there is a top and a bottom to this. You see it's a little wider on the bottom. Alright, here's the new screen. Just comes with plastic on the back, plastic on the front. Just peel off the backside first. And you have the white tape backing that's protecting the new adhesive. You just gotta want to remove that white backing to reveal the adhesive. And we just need to flip this around because that wider part is going to match up with the wider part of the bottom. It'll go like that. Peel the white strip backing off. It comes off in two parts. First part comes off easy. Second part, you just got to get under it a little bit. Flip that down onto your metal bracket and take that top piece off. Line it up as straight as you can. Once you get it straight, push down gently. Make sure that adhesive is sticking to the metal bracket. And once that's in place, you're going to take that metal bracket with the new screen and you're going to set that over your LCD screen that you took off. Trying not to get any dust or dirt in between the screens. Gently lay that over the LCD screen. Remember to push down your 5 metal tabs to hold it in place. Now it's ready to be set back into place. Gently set that in place, and first put your circuit board on before you put the back cover on. There is 2 holes which line up in the 2 screw hole pegs, like so. Once that's in place, put your ribbon cables back together. It's a little tricky to get them back in place, but they do have these little tabs on them. They need to be seated fully. Once the little tabs on the edges set into the little grooves, you know that's going to make good contact. Once I fight with this a little bit. Once it's in place, I'll snap that back down. There's a little sticker on the back of that ribbon cable. Snap it back down. This time we'll be ready to put our back cover back over the unit. Now there is 2 plugs on the bottom which need to go through those 2 holes. One is a multi-pin plug which needs to go through the little plastic holes. Make sure everything's lined up correctly so nothing gets bent. I'll show you those little pins right here. They need to go through the plastic holes. Make sure nothing's bent. Everything looks good. So we get that in place. We're going to reassemble using all the gold screws. They're all the same size. So it doesn't matter which hole you put them in. Check out my Amazon link in the description if you want a link to this screen. It is relatively inexpensive, and compared to a lot of people who probably get frustrated and buy a whole nother radio, whether brand new or at a junkyard, this here is the quickest, cheapest fix that I can think of. Once you get the 3 plugs back in, you're going to snap the radio back in place, so those 2 clips. And once that's snapped into place, actually I'm going to actually test it first before I put the 4 screws back in. It looks like it's working. Screen is responding to everywhere I touch. This is the clock setting that would not respond to my touch last time. Trying a few buttons here. Everything works great. I'm going to put the 4 screws back into place. I thought this project was going to be a little intimidating at first, and it turns out to be pretty easy. I think the hardest part is probably removing the digitizer screen from the actual radio. But as you can see, if you have a hairdryer or a heat gun, it goes fairly easy. You're not going to ruin anything by overheating it, since it is the old one. Double check everything. Everything looks good. And that's all.